Hi, my name is Jeremy Jonge. I am a 7th grade student here at Charles Wright Academy. Today I will be interviewing my grandma, Gloria Rochelle. She grew up in Alabama, which frankly was the cradle of segregation in America. She marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge with MLK. She's here today to share her story. Welcome, Grandma Gloria. And today I also have Ariana.
Hi everyone, my name is Ariana and I'm a Charles Wright Academy alumni. I'm also Jeremy's sister and this is my grandma Gloria Rochelle. And I am currently a sophomore at Vanderbilt University as well. I'm so excited to do this interview today and to hear about the experiences of Grandma Gloria during the Civil Rights Movement and after and before. Welcome Grandma Gloria. Could you go ahead and introduce yourself?
My name is Gloria Rochelle. I grew up, I am a sharecropper's daughter. I grew up in a family of 7. It was my mother birthed 14 children. 7 children passed away after birth and some of them during birth because they had black poor-natal care for the blacks in the South. And I am a daughter of a sharecropper.
How was it being the daughter of a sharecropper?
Sharecropper. Well, a sharecropper means that you live on a landowner. You live on their land, and you agree to give so much of your harvest to them. And if you made a good harvest, we gave them 1 bale of cotton, but everybody was different. That was the landowner we have. Everybody on their place gave them 1 bale of cotton. If you didn't do good, you didn't have to give anything. But that was still oppression.
And could you explain to us that even though it was a step down from slavery, sharecropping was highly oppressive because your family did not own the land that you worked on.
That's right.
And you had to work to earn things that you could not keep.
That's right.
And this meant that you didn't have as much financial power as you could have.
That's right.
Thank you. Do you want to go ahead and start the questions?
I'd love to start them. How did you end up getting involved to the March to Selma?
Well, the reason I got involved in the march, I really thought about it and gave it a lot of thoughts. I say, these people are dying for me. They are losing blood. They're losing blood for me. And here I felt like I was just on the sideline, just sitting by. And then I felt guilty. I just didn't feel right all the time. I say, and after the Bloody Sunday happened, I say that's when I was going to get involved in the march. And during that time, 3 sisters of mine and I would join the march to Selma, from Selma to Montgomery.
And could you tell us what is Bloody Sunday and what was the march to Selma?
Bloody Sunday was when John Lewis, he was a civil rights activist. John Lewis, and later he became a congressman. He led a march from Selma. He attempted to lead a march from Selma to Montgomery. And on this march, he was commemorating the killing of Jimmy Lee Jackson, who was a civil rights activist. He lived in Marion, Alabama. He was marching, he was doing the civil rights march, and he was protecting his mother. He was shot by a state trooper, and he was being badly by a state trooper, and he was also shot by an Alabama state trooper. He only lived a couple of days in the hospital, and then he passed away. Also, there was a Unitarian minister named Jim Reed. He was a civil rights activist. He came down. He was from Boston, Massachusetts, and he came down to march with John Lewis, and he was so brutally beaten by the head, and he was shot and he died. He was so brutally beaten by the head, and he died in the Birmingham hospital 7 days later. Well, on 17th of March, the federal court handed down an all-court order to Martin Luther King and to stage a 54-mile walk march from Selma to Montgomery. And the reason for this march was to bring attention to the blacks and the voting rights of blacks in the South, and to bring attention to the mandated literary test. This is a test, but they give you, it's mandatory that you take a test for reading and writing before you could become a registered voter. And so that was depriving a lot of blacks from becoming voting rights. So this was to restrict how many blacks that they want to become a registered voter. And in March the 25th of March, staged by Martin Luther King from Selma to Montgomery. It was led by Martin Luther King along with John Lewis, civil rights activist. He was an aide to King, and John Jose Williams, and Jim Lethero, who was the one-legged Caucasian man marching. And along with them, they had many denominational clergymen, since the Unitarian minister was beaten and died, that encouraged all of these ministers to get involved of different denominations, priests and priests and what they call nuns, priests and nuns, along with several thousand of civil rights marches, and three sisters and I joined the march. So as we congregated at Brown's Chapel, AME Brown's Chapel in Selma, and it was a beautiful day. I never forget, it was a beautiful day, the sun shining. And as we got there were troops all around looking through things, looking through behind buildings, looking through bushes. They were everywhere. And we held hands, started singing freedom songs. And as we were singing those freedom songs, we marched across, as we crossed the bridge, the Edmonds Pettus Bridge. At the base of the bridge, where the Bloody Sunday took place, and we stood there and we sang hymn songs for a while. Lyndon Johnson federalized the Air National Guards, and he ordered U.S. troops with 101 Airborne Division to accompany us on the march to Montgomery. And they were, as we began to march down the highway, there were a line of troops, one line on each side of us. One line was facing us, the other line was facing the bystanders. And as we marched, we heard hecklers, but we did not pay attention because the freedom songs we were singing, it just drowned them out. I feel like we always in one accord. We're always in one accord. And the march was so joyful. We did not meet a stranger. Everybody was friendly. And you introduce yourself. You never met that person, you introduce yourself. And we met comedians, movie stars, and different ones. And they introduced us as, did you meet Martin Luther King? I said, yes, I met Martin Luther King, but I'll meet him again. So we shook hands with him. He was just a down-to-earth person. He was a good person. I just wish you ever could have had a chance to meet him. You would just love him. He had a kind, soft-spoken voice and personality. And the next morning, the march was supposed to continue. They had 4 days to walk into Montgomery. And as they walked, they still had the troops with them. And they were, as they got near Montgomery, on the outskirts of Montgomery, the marchers began to swell in number.
Wow, that's amazing. What are some of the most important things you remember about Dr. King, his work, and his messages?
Dr. King was a very courageous person. He never let death threat, injury, violence got in the way of his mission. Prisons, he never let. He will continue his mission. He was arrested how many times? He was arrested, and beaten. He never let that guy sway his mission. He kept on his mission. He was very strong, and he believed in his mission.
And I'd like to talk to you more about other things that you did outside of the march in the civil rights movement. Things like sit-ins, other things that you did.
Yes, one sister and I was engaged in when the Freedom Riders was going through the South in integrating lunch counters. I was involved in that. One of my sisters and I was engaged in that sit-in. We sit in at the Trailway bus station in Montgomery. And as we sit in, we sat there, we went in and we went into the white waiting room. And we ordered drinks. We went to use the bathroom. Some bought newspaper, ordered everything what you would do in a bus station. We ordered some drinks, some ordered some food to eat. Well, the white waitress left. So the black waitress was over in the black area, came over and waited for us. Because the white waitress, they got angry and they left. They wouldn't wait on us.
And so with these things that you were doing, like sit-ins and the march, what were you, I know that you talked about you were, interested in voting rights and making sure that Black people could vote. Tell us, outside of voting rights, what else did you hope to see when you were doing your sit-ins and things like that? What did you hope to see change for your people?
Well, we began to vote. Lyndon Baines Johnson was the president, so he signed the voting right bill. And I went down, my sister and I, we went down immediately to vote. And I was so glad to get the vote. But still, the jobs wasn't there for us. The job wasn't there because I worked all types of jobs. I worked in homes, and when I would try go and get a job, they throw a silly test on you, a silly test to you. It didn't make sense. And they actually did redheads have a temper. They asked you how many beans in a jar. All the crazy questions. Some question they couldn't answer. And by the way, when they had the state mandated test, they would ask civic questions. A lot of people wouldn't know anything about civics. So a lot of people didn't take civics, especially years ago.
And so these were ways that, Black people were kept down.
Yes.
Strategically and systematically.
Yes.
And this is what you and, the people that were marching and doing this work were hoping to see change.
Yes, right. That's right. Yes.
Thank you. This is a good question. What are your hopes for your grandchildren?
Well, the hope for my grandchildren that they would not be looking at the color of your skin. I hope that you would not have to go through the same things I went through. That you'll be able to march, you'll be able to go to the same school they go to, You would be able to sit down and eat and drink things that we couldn't do. We would be able to sit down and eat and drink in a restaurant regard. You can sit in a place, and it's just you didn't have to go through the same thing that I went through.
And in terms of the things that you went through, could you talk to us more about what were some significant moments for you after the civil rights movement during your life as a Black woman?
Well, I thought about all the things that I went through, all the hardship that I had to endure. And I thought about the march, this white Caucasian guy, that march. I said, he had one leg and he was out there marching for me. I said, and I was thinking about, we were all marching for humanity. And he was marching when I was not marching. And I didn't think that was fair. And I couldn't vote. He was marching for me to vote. And I thought about all the people that lost their life and the bloodshed that took place. It was a lot of things that we had to endure. Now I was able, since I left the South, after Martin Luther King death, I left the South and I came here. And I came here, I got a civil rights job. I worked in civil service. I worked in civil service at Fort Lewis, and later on I went to nursing school and I got my nursing license and I became a nurse. And now I am retired as a nurse, and also I am an author of a book. And this is my book.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So Grandma Gloria's book is called Cotton Fields and Crazy Notions, A Daughter Remembers Life in a Sharecropper's Family. I have read this book, and I can tell you from personal experience, I would 10 out of 10 recommend that you all go and buy a copy. In it, I mean, I guess Grandma Gloria,
Tell me what you can get it from Amazon.
You can get it from Amazon. And, you know, this is just a memoir of your life.
My life.
Yes, exactly. And I can go ahead and read a bit about, you know, what the book is about. In this remarkable memoir, retired nurse and African-American patriot Gloria Rochelle details her life as a youngster, growing up in the deepest part of the Deep South during the 1940s and 50s. Gripping in scope, intimate in detail, Gloria's story is a testament to the joy and laughter, the struggles and heartaches of a sharecropper's family, thrust into the middle of the civil rights movement, at first by virtue of their birth dates and then by virtue of a federal call to justice. Walk with Gloria across Pettus Bridge during the Selma to Montgomery March. Attend her as she hears the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in his church. Stand in line at his bier with her after he is gunned down, and find out why Gloria believes Governor George Wallace may have received a fly-in amber bum rap in today's history books. If you think you know everything there is to know about this particular time in history, you're in for some pulse-raising surprises, and more than a few unexpected tears. You can't know a man or woman until you've walked in their hand-me-down, slit open at the toes shoes. Lose yourself in a period of history that is endlessly fascinating, a cause that appeared all but futile from Dixieland's African-American perspective. But they just keep marching. They just kept marching, kept believing, kept dying, and kept praying. Today, President Barack Obama stands as stark testimony to the continuing promise of the hard-won legacies that people like Gloria Rochelle helped make happen. And you can purchase this on Amazon. Thank you so much for sitting down to talk with us, Grandma Gloria. We truly appreciate it. And thank you so much for co-hosting with me, Jeremy. And thank you all for listening. This has been a great experience.
Thank you.